So, Esther, in the last class, we were discussing about the degrees of freedom, and we have already covered this particular problem over here, uh, and also the first problem, wherein we had to count the number of links as well as the number of joints, and using the Grubler's equation, we were able to find out the degrees of freedom. Okay, so we'll continue with solving more number of problems. So, all of you can note down this problem. Okay. The number of links are highlighted. So I have number of links as 4. Now, who can tell me what is J1? That is number of joints which has single degree of freedom. Okay, those are to refresh. The 4 links are: first link is the fixed link. The second link is this roller over here. The third link is another roller. And fourth link is this connecting rod between the roller and which is fixed at this point A, that is pivoted at this point A. So these are the 4 links. So what about J1? I want this class to be a discussion class because I need you guys to tell me if you understood or not, how to find out J1 and J2 and all those things. Okay, I'm getting J1 as 3 in the chat box. Uh, Now you'll have to make a note of the very important point that I'm going to tell you now. For a problem which is involving a rotating disc or a roller, and in such problem, if they have not mentioned the type of motion clearly, then you will have to solve this problem by considering all the different cases. That means uh, the link 2 and link 3, that is these two rollers, may have purely rolling motion between them, or they might have a combination of rolling as well as sliding. Okay, it's just like your vehicle moving on a road and you apply the brake suddenly. So at that time, it's a combination of your wheels rolling on the road as well as it will get skid on the surface. Okay, so the combination of rolling and slipping can also take place. Another one combination would have been possible if at all this arrow, yeah, I hope you can see this arrow over here. This arrow indicates that the disk or link number 3 is rotating. But if they don't show you this arrow, if they don't highlight this arrow, then we can also solve this problem by considering the third case, that at this particular point, it may be welded. Okay. In case if at this point, if it is welded, then obviously between link 3 and link 2, there will be only purely slipping that will be taking place. Okay, so anyways, we'll consider the case 1 now. Case 1, wherein you can just note down. I'll be solving this as case 1 of pure rolling. Okay, so I'm writing it with mouse, so handwriting might not be so clear. So I'm just taking this as pure rolling condition between 3 and 2. So in case the motion is pure rolling, that means it has only 1 degree of freedom. What is the degree of freedom? Rolling is the degree of freedom. If it is having rolling as well as slipping, then this joint will have 2 degrees of freedom. Right now I'm taking pure rolling, so this joint is having 1 degree of freedom. So let us count J1 now. At this joint between 1 and 4, yes, it is purely turning, only 1 degree of freedom. So this is 1 J1, that's first lower joint. Between link 4 and link 3 over here, it will be purely again turning joint, only 1 degree of freedom is there. So this is your another lower joint. Between 3 and 2 over here, which I have highlighted already. So again, as the condition is purely rolling, so it has only 1 degree of freedom, that is lower joint. Okay, sir, it falls under J1. Please remember the definition of J1. You can see here, number of joints having 1 degree of freedom. This was what we have defined it as J1. I've already told you, if you refer some other textbooks, it will lead to confusion. But refer this definition, then your problem solving will be very easy. So this joint is having only 1 degree of freedom, so I'm considering it as J1. Similarly, this joint between 2 and the fixed link, again it is of purely turning, that is only 1 degree of freedom, so this is also J1. So effectively I have this is first J1, this is second J1, this is third, and this is fourth. Okay, so I'm getting number of J1 is equal to 4 and not 3. Okay, so totally there are 4 joints. All the 4 joints are having only 1 degree of freedom or single degree of freedom. So obviously the value of J2 now will become 0 because all the joints we have already covered in the equation. Okay, so now if I use the equation 3 into n minus 1, that is 3 into 4 minus 1. So that is 9 minus 2 times J1, that is 8, minus J2, that is minus 0. So your answer will be equal to 1. Okay, so this is your degree of freedom. If you have any confusion, please let me know. This is case 1 that I have considered. Is it clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I'll consider case 2, wherein it is rolling and sliding. Okay, we are talking about the connection between link 3 and link 2. At this point, I'm going to assume the condition now that it is rolling as well as sliding. So with this condition, let us see how the parameters taking place. Number of links will be as usual 4. We are not changing that. So number of links are going to remain same. Let us count J1 now. Okay, this joint between 1 and 4, yes, it is J1. The joint between 4 and 3 over here, this is also J1 because only 1 degree of freedom is there. The joint between 2 and fixed link over here, it is rotating, so only 1 degree of freedom. So again it is also J1. But the joint between 2 and 3 over here, we are having rolling as well as sliding. So there are 2 degrees of freedom. So this is not J1. If there are 2 degrees of freedom, then this becomes J2. Go back to the definition. J2 is number of joints having 2 degrees of freedom. Okay. So here we are having a joint which has 2 degrees of freedom. 1 degree is rolling, another degree is slipping. Okay. So the value of J1 will be 1, 2, and 3. So only 3 J1 and we are having 1 J2. So now the equation comes as 3 into n minus 1, that is 9, minus 2 times J1, that is 2 into 3, 6, minus J2, that is 1. Okay, so it is 9 minus 6 minus 1, so final answer is 2. If I consider rolling and slipping, you are going to get 2 degrees of freedom for this entire system. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
You guys can take this as a small assignment. We'll assume that there is no arrow shown over here. We'll assume that this arrow is not shown, and you consider the third case of welded. That means welding is taking place between 4 and 3. Between link 4 and link 3 at this point, if I assume that it is welded, then what will happen? Can anyone at least tell me how many number of links you are going to get?
3, sir.
Yes, exactly. So link 4 and link 3 will not be separate because it is welded. There won't exist any relative motion between these two things, that is the roller and the connecting rod. There won't exist any relative motion, and it is welded means it will be treated as unity. So this together will give you one link. The second link is this as usual fixed link, and the third link will be this roller over here. So you will get 3 links, and the joint between 3 and 2 over here. Okay, since this disc is welded and it cannot rotate, the only motion between 3 and 2 will be of purely sliding. So this will be J1. In that case, this will also be J1. Okay, here you are not going to get any joint because it is welded. And here also you are going to get J1. So your answer will be for welded connection, it is N is equal to 3. J1 is equal to also 3. And there is no J2 here. So your answer will be 3 into 2, 6 minus 2J1, 6. That is your degree of freedom. You are going to get it as 0. Okay. So I hope this concept was clear. I'll take up the next problem.
So sorry, sir. Like in the last question, it was not mentioned that the link to the connection was concentric. Like if it was along with the rotation, if it was not concentric, then there would be one more case, something like that.
What concentric? How concentric is coming into picture here? What?
No, sir. Like the second link that you mentioned here, that is connected to the ground at exactly center, or if it is some offset, something like that, then there will be one more case, right?
No. Even if it is offset, see if I make this as offset here. Okay, good point. If I consider instead of this point, if I make it here, right? So this link to when it is rotating about this point, what will happen? This connecting rod 4 will have to oscillate in this direction. It will keep on oscillating. Why? Because link 2 is not having the rotation point at the center. It is having at some offset, due to which it will keep on wobbling. And because the link 2 is wobbling, link 3, which is in contact with that, will make this link 4 oscillate in this direction, what I've shown over here. Okay, so in either case, the connection between 3 and 2 will not change. The connection between 3 and 2 will be either of purely rolling, or it will be combination of rolling and sliding. I hope I have answered your doubt.
So then the degree of freedom will also remain the same in spite of the mechanism
Exactly.
doing some action.
Yes. The degree of freedom will also remain
Okay.
same if I make it offset also. It will not change.
Okay.
Only the motion will change, but the degree of freedom will remain same. So this is a problem here. This is a Caesar mechanism. Already a number of links. You can see it started with the ground or the fixed link. It is 1. Then the link starting from this point up till here, it's entire link 2. Okay. Now, why this problem is important is, while counting, you may count it as 2 over here. That is this. Okay, let me erase this. So general mistake, what they do is they will count one link up till here, and they will count another link from this to this. So this they will be considering as 2 links. So if you do like this, then the number of links will be more, and your answer will be wrong. It is just like a Caesar. Let me highlight this and show you. don't highlight. Okay, right. You'll have to imagine a Caesar, which I'm drawing over here now. Okay, a regular Caesar that you see at your home. It is having some pivot point over here. Okay, so now just imagine what would have happened if this particular link that I've drawn, if it is made up of two parts, that is one split at particular this point, then your Caesar activity will not take place. Whatever purpose is there of the main Caesar, you won't be able to achieve that purpose. If it is made up of two links, say 1 and 2, then it will not work. This has to be made up of single link, and this also has to be of single link. Only then the Caesar mechanism will work. So in the same way, what we are seeing in this diagram, we have to follow the same thing. So this entire thing is link 2. This entire link is 3. Okay. Now the fourth link, they have shown it over here. This fourth link is nothing but the roller. Okay. Roller is again a moving object. It has a relative motion. So that should also be considered as a link. So your fourth link is this one. Similarly, we have fifth link over here, sixth link over here, seventh over here. This is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So altogether there will be 14 links in that. So I've got n equal to 14. Now who can count and tell me what is J1? I'll give you 2 minutes time. Please, all of you count and let me know what is J1. I want answer from everyone. Even if you're wrong, it's not an issue. We'll count it and I'll show you how to do it.
Well,
How much you got?
12.
I'll put it in the chat box. I guess there's some problem with your voice. Yeah, I've got 19. I've given it as 18. So let me count it now. So I'll start from here. Okay, you can start from anywhere, not an issue. So this joint, I'll first go on marking the joints, then we'll categorize them under J1 and J2. Okay, so this is one joint here. What about any other joints are remaining? I need to show the joint between link 4, that are the rollers, and link 1, that is fixed. So we are having one more joint over here that I'm marking. I'm showing it with red color. So this is the joint. Okay. Now I'll first identify the joints which are having 2 degrees of freedom. So if I just highlight the last one which I have done, okay, the last one, that is the rollers. It is nothing but the link 4 and link 1. How many degrees of freedom it is having? It is having 2 degrees of freedom. Right? Why? Because now the rollers are not rolling about its own axis. They are rotating about its own axis, but when they are rolling, they are also having the translation motion over here. So one motion is that is rotation about its own axis, okay, in this fashion. Another motion will be translation along this axis. Okay, so this particular joint that I've shown over here, this falls under the category of J2. Okay, so over here, this I'm going to write it as J2. Rest all other joints, if you see, they are having only the turning motion. Okay, they are not translating, they are having only turning motion, so all will fall under 1 degree of freedom, that is J1. So let me count J1 now. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. I have not missed any joints now. So I am getting
Yes, sir.
J1. Yeah.
Sir, you missed one, sir, like at point 4 mentioned.
Sir,
There
one
is
point is missing, sir.
Uh, okay. Sorry. This one, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, that will be J18 then. So J1 is 18 and I'm getting J2 as 1. I hope all of you are able to accept this, that J2 is 1 here. Rollers are link 4, they are rotating or they are rolling on a fixed surface. Why I'm telling they are having 2 degrees of freedom? One is because they are rotating about their own axis, as well as they are translating forward. That's why they are having 2 degrees of freedom. So it will fall under J2 category. So the degree of freedom will be 3 into n minus 1, that is 3 into 14 minus 1. So it will be 39, 13 into 3, minus 2 times J2, that will be 36, minus J2, that is minus 1. So your degree of freedom answer is 2. Now you can just see this diagram, and you can, before solving all these things only, you should be able to tell me how many degrees of freedom it has. Just look at the diagram and assume how it is going to work. Okay, if I am going to press this scissor mechanism from this direction, as you can see, if I press this, it will get compressed, right? It will all get compressed in this direction. While it is getting compressed, these rollers will roll and they will move in this direction. Okay, so I am having 1 degree of freedom, wherein I am translating it in x axis, because of which the rollers will move in y axis. So just by looking at the diagram without calculating the links or joints, I can clearly say that, okay, this mechanism, it is having motion in 2 directions, hence it has 2 degrees of freedom. Okay, so that's how you can verify your answer over here. I hope it's clear. Okay, this is the next problem. Once again, number of links are already shown over here. Okay, the first link, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And see, this is the 7th link. Since it is in hatched fashion, so this entire part is considered as a single link. I don't want you guys to count this line as one link and this line as another link. Similarly, this one as link. No. So all these lines put together in a closed loop and hatching lines are shown, means it will be a single link. Okay. So we are having number of links as 7, n equal to 7. What about J1? By default, if there is a no circular disk or rolling object, then by default J2 will be 0. So you did not worry about that. I'll give a shortcut hint. Straight away you can write this J2 is equal to 0 as long as there are no rolling objects. Okay, I got question. I'm getting J1 as 14. 1-4. It's wrong. I got 6 as another answer. 10, 12. Okay. Okay. Let us take one blank slide. I'll just take this blank slide. Just imagine I've got one link over here. Okay, this is one link. It has two ends. And suppose if I take another link and join it in this fashion. Okay, so this is link 1, this is link 2. I have joined them over here. Say with a simple pin. With a simple pin, I have joined over here. Now, if I want another link, okay, if I want this third link also to be placed here only in a common joint, then what I have to do? I have to bring this third link over here and put another pin to an already existing one joint. This is already a existing system. For this existing system, I need to add another link. So if I bring this link 3 over here, I'll have to place another joint over here. That is another pin. So that means a very simple logic. If there are 3 links, then I'll be requiring 2 joints. And if there are only 2 links, I'll be requiring 1 joint. So number of links minus 1 will be equal to number of joints for that. What we are seeing here is of some similar example here. Look at example of point E over here. At point E, there is a joint. How many joints are there? At point E, how many links are connecting? First of all, we have link number 5 coming from this side. We have link number 4 coming from this side. And we have link number 7 coming from this side. All are merging at this single point E. Means at this point E, there are 3 links which are merging. So this will have 2 joints. Similarly, at point D, I have link 7, link 4, and link 3. So again, it will have 2 joints. At point C, there are only 2 links, that is 3 and 2. So it will have 1 joint. At point B, once again, 2 joints. At point A, once again, 2 joint. At point F, we are having only 1 joint. Okay, so if I count this now, it is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So what I'm getting is the answer is as 10. Number of joints are 10. Okay. अब this is clear. There's no J2, so obviously directly I've taken J2 as 0. So again, the degree of freedom is 3 into n minus 1, that is 6, 3 is 18 minus 2j. Okay, it's an interesting one. What is degree of freedom you are getting here? 3 into n minus 1, that is 3 into 7 minus 1, 18 minus 2 times j1, that is minus 20. So answer you are getting it as minus 2. What does this physically mean? I have already told you, if degree of freedom is 0, it means it does not have any motion. So it is a structure. If the degree of freedom is greater than 0, that means it has some motion. So we term it as mechanism or kinematic chain. But what happens when a degree of freedom is minus or less than 0? As per the definition we have told is
Indeterminate, sir.
indeterminate structure. But what does it physically mean? What is the difference between a structure and an indeterminate structure? Anyone?
There
Okay,
are
I'll
extra
post.
unnecessary joints.
Sorry?
There are extra unnecessary joints.
No, that's not the answer. That's not the answer. In-
Sir,
technical studies
equilibrium
considered in
equations cannot be used.
So we will not be having as many equations as many things we have to find. Like if you want to find two things, we should have at least like two equations, that kind of thing.
okay.
Indeterminate
Uh,
structure.
Somewhat close. What we'll do is we'll make it interesting. I'll just post this as a question in your Google Classroom. This is not an assignment, okay? I'm just posting it as a regular question. So wherein whatever you answer, it's also visible to your other students also. So just let us see what answers, interesting answers we'll get, and I'll give you the correct answer in the same post only. Okay. So I hope this is clear. We have solved. Okay, this is what I was talking about earlier. Here they have clearly mentioned over here that it's a welded joint. Can you see this? So in this case, and also what one of the students said, that the disk 2 is not rotating about its center, it's rotating at some offset distance. Okay, because of this offset, the disk 2 will keep on rotating, as well as in a y-axis movement will be there, because of which the welded disk over here will be continuously sliding on it, and the link 3 will keep on oscillating. So you can just try out this problem. The answer will still remain the same. Nothing, no difference. Just because I'm changing the center of rotation of disk 2, it will not change the answers for degrees of freedom. It will still remain the same. Okay. These are some of the examples. Almost all are simple. We have already solved this first, third, and fifth one. I'll be sharing this PPT anyways to you guys. You can practice the other problems. The fourth one is there. Sixth is there. And these other problems. Okay. So this will complete the mobility or degrees of freedom concept here. In the next class, I'll be starting with the inversions. Before that, let me just give a rough idea about what the inversions are. Then directly in the next class, we can start with the this inversions. So basically, there are three types of kinematic chain. The first one is a regular 4-bar. So wherein you have link 1, link 2, and link 3. Link 4 is a fixed one. So this is called as a 4-bar. So wherein we have 4 different links which are connected to each other, and all the joints are of purely turning or revolute joint. If I take the second category, it is called a single slider crank chain. So I should have a crank over here. That is the one link which makes one complete rotation. I should also have a single slider. So it will look something like this. I have a crank which is fixed about this point. This crank is connected to a connecting rod, and then we are having a slider over here. Okay. So again, we are having link 1 fixed, link 2 is crank, link 3 is connecting rod, and link 4 is the slider. So this type of mechanism is known as single slider crank chain. Similarly, the last one is double slider. So in which for the mechanism, instead of one sliding element, we'll be having 2 sliders. So these are the three different types of chains that we are going to study from syllabus point of view. Okay. But know the inversions, right? Okay. Just erase this. Okay. Look at this. The first one that I've drawn. The 4-bar chain. Here link 1 is fixed, and you can see link 2 is going to make a rotary motion like this because it is a crank. So it is going to completely rotate, make 360 degrees, whereas link 4 will keep on oscillating. Now for this type of kinematic chain, I can just slightly modify the links, and instead of fixing link 1, if I fix link 4 and give rotation to some other link, then what will happen? The mechanism will slightly change its nature of motion, and accordingly, whatever new nature of motion it will adopt, it can be used for a suitable application. Similarly, instead of fixing 4, now in the next stage I'll fix link 3. Okay, only one link you have to fix. So instead of this one, I'm now going to fix link 3 and give rotation to any one of the link. Once again, the nature of the motion will change, and based on the nature of motion, it will be used in a suitable application. Last possibility is I can fix link 2, which is the crank, and I can make the other links move accordingly. So depending upon the shape and size, again it will obtain a new nature of motion. Okay, so what it means is, for a given 4-bar chain, okay, I can obtain 3 different options of motion. That is, I can keep on changing the fixed link. Instead of 1, the first option is I will fix link 4. The second option is I will fix link 3. The third option is I'm going to fix link 2. So I can get 3 options here. This process of fixing the other links, each one at a time, and obtaining the mechanism, that is known as inversion. Okay, so the definition is very simple. You go on fixing each link at a time, and whatever mechanism you obtain, those are called as inversions. So for a given 4-bar mechanism, I can obtain 3 inversions. One is by fixing this link, second one is by fixing the link 3, and third option is by fixing link 2. I hope the concept of inversion is clear. Okay, by fixing each link at a time, you are going to get the inversion. So like this, in the next slide, I'm not going to teach anything. This is the different inversions that we are studying from syllabus point of view. The first inversion, we are only talking about the directly application. For example, for this 4-bar chain, as I said, 3 inversions can be obtained. So directly we are studying what is the application. One is beam engine, say pantograph, crank and lever mechanism. So there are different options available here. If you choose different textbooks, they might have used different options, applications. Ultimately, what I want is, for 4-bar chain, it has 3 inversions. So I should be able to understand or explain at least 3 applications over here. Similarly, for double slider, the inversions can be like elliptical tremel, screw choke mechanism, or Oldham's coupling. And for single slider, the mechanisms or inversions can be the rotary engine, oscillatory cylinder, then quick return motion, or pendulum pump. All these things are only the applications. So I'll be showing you the very simple diagrams and the simple video animation of how these works. There's no much theory here. All it depends upon is the diagram and basic explanation of that. Okay, so this will cover up in the next class. So I'll stop today. If you have any doubts, please let me know. I'll keep the platform open. If you have any discussions, you can please let me know.